हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. So let me share my screen. Can you see the screen? Right?
Yeah.
Here also. Hare Krishna. So the three elements of surrender today. It's basically the famous shloka from Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna talks about surrendering to a bona fide spiritual master. Anybody knows that shloka? Tadvidhi pranipatena. So this is the shloka you can see online on the screen. So anybody like to read this Sanskrit?
Try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Krishna. Please go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tadvidhi
Sorry.
pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanistatvadarshinaha.
Yeah.
Just translation. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth.
Yes. So this is one of the most important verses from Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is recommending to approach a bona fide spiritual master. If you want to learn the truth, we cannot figure out by ourselves. Just like a person who is bound, say if you are bound by a rope, can anyone who is also similarly bound, can they come and unbind me? Say we are all bound. This material world is a conditioned world, which is like we are bound by these three gunas: sattva guna, rajo guna, tamo guna. They are making me act in a particular way. If I am bound by tamo guna, I get attracted to tamo guna qualities: smoking, drinking, and those kind of association. Rajoguna similarly, Sattva guna similarly. So we are all bound. One who is bound cannot unbind another person. So the rescuer must be liberated. Isn't it? The rescuer must be liberated. So that rescuer is the bona fide spiritual master, who is the representative of Krishna. Krishna is the supremely pure, supreme liberated, and anybody who is his representative, pure representative, is also liberated. So only he can unbind us. That is why Krishna says you approach tadvidhi in order to learn. Vidya means what? It comes from the root word with, knowledge. Vidhi means to learn. So you have to learn tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. These three things are highlighted. So these are the three elements that I want to discuss today. When you approach a bona fide spiritual master, what are the elements constituting such approach? These are the three elements. First is pranipata, surrender. Second is pariprashna, inquiries. And the third is seva, service. And then once we do that, what will the spiritual master do? Focus on the third and fourth lines. Upadekshyanti te gnanam gnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. Upadekshyanti means he will impart this knowledge. Gnanam. Gnanam upadekshyanti. Why or how he is able to give? Because he is tattvadarshinaha. He has seen the truth. Only one who has seen the truth can explain the truth. And when we surrender, approach a spiritual master with these three things, pranipatena, pariprashnena, sevaya, the spiritual master, becoming pleased, will impart that sublime knowledge to us. So let's look at these three things one after the other. Okay, sorry for that font. It's very small. Let me read myself. So the first thing is pranipata, surrender. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport, such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender. And one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant, without false prestige. We all have false prestige. Hey, why I should go and surrender to somebody? Why I should offer obeisances to somebody? That is why in our Vedic system, from the very beginning, we are asked to go to the Gurukul and serve the spiritual master. Because at a very young age, when you are a child, you don't have any false prestige. Whatever the Guru asks, you do. Still remember in my childhood, so we were playing in one locality, very small children. And somebody called me who was living next door. So I went and he gave me some 1 or 2 rupees in those days, right? Some money, some cash. Hey, go to the shop at the end of the street, get me a pack of cigarettes. And I just ran, gave the money, asked for the cigarettes, got and ran back, gave it to him, and went and played. I didn't have any knowledge that if somebody is adult or a superior is asking, oh, he's asking me this, how can I go get cigarettes? I won't touch. I don't have any such conceptions because I was a very young boy. And later it lightened in my mind, why did I do such thing? After a few days, my friends were asking, hey, what did you do? Because I didn't have any such conception. The children are asked in Gurukul, go to Madhukari. You know, Madhukari means begging. The begging is not the right word, but there is no other similar word to explain. You know, just like the honey bee, it collects the honey going each flower. Madhu means honey, nectar. Madhukari means the profession of collecting whatever is required only, not just for the sake of eating. Why these saintly men, they go, Bhavati Bhikshan Dehi, we all know that, right? Even Ravana came like that. Sita Devi came to give him something. Why they do that? Because these grihasthas are entangled in family life, and the saintly people come to deliver them by giving instructions and at the same time getting something from them as a source of their livelihood. So whatever they get from the householders, they will be happy. And the householders, they'll be happy by getting the instruction from the saintly man. So that is Madhukari. So the children would do anything. So there is no question of false prestige. It builds a good character from the very childhood. It's a very powerful concept, Gurukul. The children are taught right values and character. But now there is no such concept of Gurukul. Children are educated, hey, if the teacher tells you something, pick up the phone and call 911. Complain. So, of course, the teachers are not being ideal, and the children are not being brought up ideally. Parents are not ideal. Everything is topsy-turvy in the present day society. So, what Prabhupada says is, one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant. So, there was Srila Prabhupada and some of his disciples. And so, there was one man who came from Western background. So, he was seeing all these disciples, Western disciples. He's never seen anybody shaven their heads and taking saffron cloth and serving a old man like that. From their perspective, it's an old man. From our perspective, he is Jagat Guru. So he's asking the question, what is the relation between a spiritual master and a disciple? And so one of the disciples started answering the question. You know, the relation between the spiritual master and disciple is that the disciple considers himself a servant, and he starts to do serve. And then Prabhupada started to interject. No, he's a menial servant. And Prabhupada explained, even if spiritual master becomes elderly and is required to be bedridden, and he has to clean up his nature calls and everything, the disciple has to do it. In fact, in our history, we have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You all know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right next to Krishna, the smaller deity, hands, arms raised, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna's incarnation in Kali Yuga. He accepted Ishvara Puri as his spiritual master. And Ishvara Puri's spiritual master was, or is, Madhavendra Puri. So this Madhavendra Puri, when he became old, he was bedridden. And this Ishvara Puri, he served Madhavendra Puri like a menial servant, even taking care of the nature calls, cleaning him up. And Madhavendra Puri became so pleased with him that he bestowed unlimited mercy upon him, to the extent that love of God, love of Krishna was bestowed upon Ishvara Puri, and he became so qualified to the extent that even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted him as his spiritual master. That is the position of Ishvara Puri. See how menial service comes with so much of abundant blessings. So, if you see Arjuna's case, Arjuna was thoroughly confused. If you go through Bhagavad Gita, at the end of the first chapter, Arjuna practically gave up his Gandiva, his bow. He said, I'm not going to fight. And he was so confused. And at the end, this is what he said. Sishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. I'll read by myself because the font is not so clear. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me clearly what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So Arjuna, when he was fully confused in life, Bhagavad Gita is teaching us through Arjuna what one should do when one is at crossroads in life. One is confused, one is frustrated. What did Arjuna do? He surrendered. He became a Sishya. Now, the interesting thing here is that this the Sanskrit word Sishya, every Sanskrit word comes with a root. There is a dhatu. So it comes from the root shas, shas dhatu. So what it means? It means to instruct, to teach, to rule, or to discipline. So you see all these words, Sishya is there, which is to instruct, to discipline. There is Shastra. Shastra also comes from the word Shas Dhatu. What is the meaning of Shastra? Shastra is scripture. So what does scripture do? Instruction or discipline. It contains the codes. There is Shastra also. Shastra also comes from the same dhatu. What is Shastra? Huh? Shastra means weapon. What does weapon do? It disciplines, it controls. Just like a spiritual master disciplines and controls, with weapon also you can control. That is why that root word is very important. Shas. So Shastra, Shastra, Sishya, everything comes from the same root word. It all contains the same import, which is to control, to discipline, to instruct, to teach. So Arjuna voluntarily became the Shishya of Krishna, voluntarily subjected himself to his discipline. So the pranipat means we have to voluntarily subject ourselves to the discipline of the spiritual master. Sometimes Prabhupada strongly used this word. Guru is not meant as a fashion. Don't keep the guru just as you keep a dog. Guru is not for fashion. If you are serious, you have to surrender and accept the discipline. So there was the spiritual master, the previous Acharya, Gaurakishore Das Babaji Maharaj. How many of you know him? Correct. There is Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master is Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's spiritual master is Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So he was very renounced, and he would live in places which are obnoxious and like next to the toilets and those kind of things, so that people would not come and disturb him. That kind of a character he was. He was just purely engaged in chanting the holy name, and he was taking everything as the mercy of Krishna. Even he would look like a madman, and the kids would come and throw pelt stones at him, and he would treat that as Krishna throwing stones. Hey Krishna, naughty Krishna, what are you doing? Like that. Everything he took as Krishna doing it to him. So one time a rich man came and he said, Babaji, I'm your surrendered soul. Show some mercy. I'll please come to my home. I'll build I have a big home. I'll build you a nice ashram, nice kutir. You can live there happily, luxuriously, and chant. Typically, the rich people, their mentality is, I can buy anybody. Let me get the blessings of this sadhu, so I can do even better in my business, in my profession. So Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj detected that false humility, not pure surrender. He had some business transaction in mind. Said, are you really surrendered? Yes, I'm really surrendered. Can you do anything for me? Yes, I'll do anything for you. Then let's do one thing. Give up everything that you have. Come right now. Give up all your possessions and dedicate yourself fully in service of me and stay here forever. Immediately he ran away from that place. So he was that blatant. He would expose that bogusness of people, falsity of people. So surrender is not in namesake. We have to truly, in heart, we have to surrender. Like one time in Prabhupada's case as well, Prabhupada was traveling in a train along with his disciples. So, the train bogie, separate quarters was there, separate room in the first class travel, right? So the disciples were making sure Prabhupada got all the comforts, and a couple of servants were attending to him. So in India, typically a lot of people travel in the trains, and whenever there is a eminent personality, now we go and take selfies and get autographs and all that. In those days, they would go get blessings and those kind of typical mentality. So these disciples were trying to protect Prabhupada from getting, attacked with this kind of people. And somehow, when they went out to get something for Prabhupada, these three gentlemen sneaked in to that chambers. And Swamiji, very nice to see you, very nice. We need your blessings, we need your mercy. And then these disciples came and Prabhupada said, that's okay, that's all right. And then they were sitting, Swamiji, please show us your mercy and all that. So Prabhupada said, I can show your mercy, I can show you my mercy. But look at these people. This person is one of the wealthiest persons in US. This man is one of the son of one of the influential persons. They've all given up their wealth. They've shaven up their heads. They are at loggerheads with their family. They don't have family relation. They don't have families. They don't have girlfriends. They are completely sannyasi. Sannyasi matlab currently brahmachari. Given up everything. They don't have material life. They have lost everything. Akinchana, nothing they have. Completely shelter at Krishna, serving me menially. Now that is my mercy. Do you want my mercy? Okay, Swamiji, they left. So like that, surrender means like this beautiful example of Narottam Das Thakur and Lokanath Goswami. Narottam Das Thakur was not like these people going to the sadhu for getting some blessing. He was genuinely interested in spiritual progress. So he came to Vrindavan and he approached Lokanath Goswami. He said, I want to serve you menially. I want to become your disciple. Lokanath Goswami was one of the previous acharyas, very, very powerful personality, very pure, very humble. And he said, I am myself not able to get the service of Sri Nitai Gauranga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda. I am myself struggling to serve them. How can I accept service from anybody? He was so humble. So he didn't accept Narottam Das. And whatever Narottam Das did, he wouldn't get accepted. But he wanted to serve his spiritual master. So you know what he did? So every day, this Lokanath Goswami would go to attend nature calls in the morning, right, in those days. And before he would even go, Narottam Das would go and would clean up that place and make it nice and pleasant before his guru would come. And Lokanath Goswami would come and get surprised, oh, how this place has become so nice and clean suddenly. And anyway, he would finish his business and continue with his rest of his businesses. And then next day also he would see the same thing. Next day. Like 1 year he served, Narottam Das served his spiritual master unbeknownst to him. And one day he came early to see who is doing this. And then he saw Narottam doing this menial service of cleaning up this place with his hands. And then he became very pleased and then accepted him as his servant, as his disciple, becoming pleased with Narottam Das Thakur. So, this is the real surrender, pranipata, real surrendering attitude, completely at the shelter of the spiritual master. And now, the second part, second element of approaching a guru is pariprashna. Prashna means questions or inquiries. Pariprashna is inquiry. So, the first important thing in pariprashna is the inquiry should not be in a challenging spirit. Now we see in debates, nobody will accept defeat. Everybody will claim, I have won the debate. You see the presidential debates, everybody will claim this person has won, that person has won. Or the debate between a theist and an atheist. Nobody will surrender to the other person. Everybody has an agenda and they want to prove their agenda. Whatever facts are presented, whatever arguments are presented, nobody will accept. But the actual rule of debate is that there is a pramana, Shastra pramana. Everybody has to accept the Shastra pramana. And there are rules of logic. And if somebody is defeated, they agree to become disciple of the other person. That is how the debates are. So the debates were conducted not in a challenging spirit. It is to seek the truth. And if somebody has really the truth, they would become their disciple. So one time, Prabhupada was giving a class. And at the end of the class, one man, he got up and he asked, Swamiji, did you see God? And all the disciples, they became stunned. It was a direct question in a very challenging spirit. Did you see God? Like that he was asking. And then Prabhupada said, if I tell you I saw God, would you believe me? And then he said, no. Then what is the use of asking that question? If I said yes, you will not believe me. If I said no, you will not believe me. Then what is the use of asking that question? Are you ready to accept? Or is it just a mere challenge? Isn't it? Such a beautiful answer. And then he said, actually, I see God, I see Krishna. So if you go to somebody, better be sure you accept the answer from that somebody. Otherwise, why go to him? Accept an authority. If you approach and surrender to a guru, all the testing part should be done. Arjuna, testing part is already done. He's Sishyasteham. The moment you say, I'm a Sishya, the inquiry only should be to understand the subject matter, not to challenge. Oh, I know better. I can teach you better. I can understand this better. Not with that spirit. All the testing should be done prior to surrendering to a guru. Whether this person can actually be a guru. Does he know the truth? Does he walk the talk? Does he act like what he is speaking? After that, once you surrender, it should be not in a challenging spirit. It should be in an inquiry, in a humble inquiry. So there was this personality, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as we said, Krishna himself came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was following the path of bhakti, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was following the path of gnana. Gnana means they would study Vedanta Sutra, they would mentally speculate about the aphorisms, and they consider ultimately God is impersonal and moksha is going and merging into God, the impersonal Brahman. So, like that. So, this Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he's an elderly man. So, he sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, young sannyasi who came to Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the time was 24 years old. And he sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu singing and dancing, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Being a sannyasi, it seemed quite odd. Hey, sannyasi is supposed to just study Vedanta Sutra, Athato Brahma Jignasa, and speculate, and what is this crazy activities you're all doing? And so Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he wanted to teach Krishna himself, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he said, hey, young sannyasi, you don't know the proper way of studying Vedanta, I'll teach you. So he took him aside and he started to teach Vedanta Sutra. You know, the Vedanta Sutra is Vyasadeva, after writing all the Vedas, all the Puranas, Itihasas, Upanishads, he summarized all the summary of Vedic literature into sutras. Sutra means what? It's like a capsule. Like when you take the capsule, medicine, it will go and unpack. There is a packing of medicine within that small capsule, right? It will go and unpack and unleash the power. So Vedanta Sutra is like small aphorisms, but it contains wealth of wisdom within that. Like Athato Brahma Jignasa, Janmadyasya Yataha, Yato va imani bhutani jayante. Like these small aphorisms, but wealth of meaning. So he started to teach Vedanta Sutra to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Not 1 hour, not 2 hours, not 3 hours, not 1 day, 2 day, 3 day. For 7 days, he would go on teaching Vedanta Sutra. And all this while, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is just silently listening. And after 7 days, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gets a doubt. This man is just going on only listening. He's not even sleeping. Either he fully understands what I already told him, what I am telling him, or he is completely oblivious to what I am telling him. He doesn't understand. And then he asks him, why are you not speaking up? You should ask some doubts. It's the duty of sannyasi to learn. And then what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya jolted him. He said, actually, the Vedanta Sutras I understand very clearly. However, Vyasadeva has written and presented, I can see and understand very clearly, but your explanations are clouding them. It is creating so much of confusion. You are unnecessarily interpreting. The Vedic instructions should not be interpreted, even if they look contradictory. Like he gives one example. According to Vedic literature, the stool of any living entity is abominable. What to speak of an animal? The moment you touch the stool, you need to purify yourself by taking bath. So that is a Vedic injunction. But the same Vedic literature says that the stool of cow is pure. Even you see in Bhagavatam, Krishna, when he was attacked by demons, they would, to pacify Krishna, they would bathe him in cow urine and cow dung. Cow dung is so pure. So you cannot question with logic. Hey, in one injunction it is said The stool of an animal is so impure. In the other injunction, it is said it is so pure. Now, what is this contradiction? But if you actually scientifically examine, you will find that the stool of the cow dung is so pure, antiseptic. So, like that, there are many, many instructions. Like the bone of an animal is impure, but the conch is the bone of an animal. It is taken to the altar. It is so pure. So, there are many statements which are beyond our comprehension. So, the Vedic literature statements have to be accepted as it is. As it is said, the supreme absolute truth, apanipadam yavano grahita, the Vedic injunction says. The supreme absolute truth does not have hands or legs. Pani means hands, padam means legs. Apanipadam. But he can catch everything and he can run faster than everyone. So, how do we explain that? It's a contradiction, isn't it? Apanipadam yavano grahita. The supreme absolute truth does not have hands or legs, but he can run faster than everybody and he can catch anything from everywhere. So, how do we explain that? So, the Gnanis, like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, they would explain that supreme absolute truth is impersonal. Therefore, it is spread everywhere. Impersonal, like a sky, is spread everywhere. You run faster, instantly sky is there everywhere. Touch anything, all pervasive, no form. That's how they explain. But when it is said that, like Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Pihitam Mukham, the words are used, Mukham is used, he can run faster is used. That means he's a person, but his organs are not like our organs. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Krishna's seeing is not like our seeing. Krishna can eat by seeing. When we offer prasadam, Brahma Samhita says, Krishna can eat with his eyes. We can only eat with our mouth. Brahma was born from the navel of Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. An ordinary person needs a wife to beget a child. Krishna didn't need that. So, to explain that the Supreme Absolute Truth is a different person altogether, not like us, it is necessary for the Vedic injunction to negate. He does not have a body like our body. It doesn't mean he doesn't have a body at all. He has a transcendental body, transcendental form. So, like this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one after the other, he defeated Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, being a learned man, scholar, and knower of the Shastras, he accepted the defeat and he surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He became his disciple. So this was done in those days, not like in a challenging spirit. So the point I'm trying to explain is, Pariprashna means, in a way you can accept the answer, not in a challenging spirit. And the third aspect today, we discussed Pranipata, Pariprashna, and Seva, service. So, for example, in order to explain this point, let's consider this. So, if you are teaching math to kids, how would you teach like this, right? So, you have these apples, you take one apple, the other apple. How many apples you have? 2 apples. And now let's take 3 apples and you take another 2 apples, you combine them. How many apples you have? 5 apples. So like that so there is 1, 2, 3, 4. You start to teach these positive numbers, mathematics to children. Now, the child goes home and he has an elder brother studying fifth class or sixth class. And the elder brother says, "Do you know negative 2?" And the child says, "What is negative 2?" "Oh, you don't know negative 2? If you subtract 3 from 1, you get negative 2. Hey, how do you subtract 3 apples from 1 apple? He cannot even comprehend that. I can only add one apple to the other apple. How can I subtract 3 apples from 1 apple? It just is beyond the ability of this boy, isn't it? But how can he understand? How can he understand the negative numbers? Is there any other way to understand negative numbers? The only way is he has to gradually study, go up to that fifth or sixth standard that his brother is in. Then, naturally, by dint of that, going through the rigors of his exercises, homeworks, teachings imparted by the teachers, then he'll be able to understand the negative numbers, isn't it? So, this is called seva. The spiritual subject matter is just like as complicated as the negative number to the child. If we want to understand, we are like children in spirituality. If you want to understand the higher truths of spirituality, we have to gradually progress in our spiritual life, go through those grades. It is just like the child going through those grades. It is a service to the spiritual master. Then only we can understand. So there was another incident with, this is the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is the spiritual master of our Srila Prabhupada. So there was one very eminent personality, Madan Mohan Malviya. Some of you might know. I think he was from Vishwa Hindu Parishad. One time he went to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur to ask a doubt. "Swamiji, I have a question for you." And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, "I won't answer that question of yours. Why don't you go inside, ask my disciples?" So he went inside the ashram. They didn't know who he was. So like anybody coming to temple, say walking to kitchen or something, we'll say, "Hey, why don't you come help?" Right? So they pulled him in. "Hey, can you do some service?" And they had him wash the plates and broom, and he was doing service for long time. He was also humble. And then he said, he admitted, at the end of that, miraculously the answer was revealed to him. And at the end he came out, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asking, "Okay, now you ask me, what is your question?" "Swamiji, my question is already answered." So this is a pastime to show that the answers, the spiritual subject matter will be revealed in your heart by your service to the spiritual master. When the spiritual master is satisfied by your service, he will reveal the answer in your heart. That's why it is Diksha Guru, we say. Guru, when we accept initiation, Diksha from somebody, "Hey, you got Diksha. What is your Diksha name?" Say we all accepted Diksha from Srila Prabhupada. Diksha means Divya Jnana Kshapayiti iti Diksha. The spiritual master reveals the Divya Jnana within our heart. How he reveals? When he is satisfied by our service. Otherwise, the subject matter, how many ever books you read, I may give you answer right away. 1 minus 2, how is minus 1? But will you be able to understand? How you will be able to understand? How you can absorb that subject matter is by service. That is why Prabhupada translates bhakti, not just devotion. How does he translate as? Devotional service. There has to be service element. Otherwise, there is no meaning to bhakti. Only by service, the answers, spiritual subject matter becomes revealed in the heart. So, very important aspect. So, that comes to the end. So, these are the three things we discussed. Pranipata, surrender, means not with any pretense, complete intent. Be willing to serve the spiritual master. Accept what he says. Second is pariprashna, inquiries, meaningful inquiries, not with a challenging spirit or not with a how do I improve my health, how do I invest in this. For that you have so many gurus. Don't go to guru, adhyatmic guru, for that. Right inquiries. And seva, importantly, seva has to be done. And when you serve the spiritual master, like today all of us, we went to distribute books, these Bhagavad Gitas, because today and tomorrow are the last days of what we call book marathon. Since the last 2 months we had been distributing books. We took a goal of distributing 2,500 books. So we are like 200 short. By tomorrow we have to distribute. So cold weather, even small children, they went out, families, they went out. I spent time outside the store. We are talking, many people reject. We already have. And some people are very welcoming. They take Westerners. So when you do service to the spiritual master, that is a pleasing service to our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. Distribute my books, give the knowledge of Krishna to people. And when you do that, he becomes pleased. So when you do that service to the spiritual master, he will reveal that knowledge. So any questions or comments? Anyone here physically or local, online?
So one question.
Yeah.
When Swami Vivekananda wanted to find his spiritual master, he kind of went and questioned. He talked to a lot of people, and until he found Swami Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he kept the quest was going on. So
Yeah.
somehow when he spoke to Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he got that thing that this is the master. So how do you find the master? How do you, when you see what are the things? It's odd to ask, but when you see something,
When does it click that
click?
he's my spiritual master? It's a very good question. First, you need to yourself do some evaluation. You need to understand who can be a spiritual master. Like if you, for example, if you don't know what is gold and you go to a grocery store, hey, can you give me gold? He can sell you tomato as gold. You can be cheated. This whole world is like that. Cheaters and the cheated. Because we don't know what is the right thing to ask. We get easily cheated by bogus gurus who sell in the name of spirituality all bogus things. Oh, you give me some money, I'll give you this mantra, you chant, you can do whatever you want. This is what spirituality is. That is cheater guru. So first we need to understand what is gold, what is a bona fide spiritual master. At least preliminary understanding. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us. You can, if you go through Bhagavad Gita, Krishna teaches who can be a bona fide spiritual master, who does not act on his sense gratification. He acts only for Krishna, who is only representing Krishna, who is authorized by his predecessor spiritual master, who is pure in his thoughts, actions, and words, whether his life is an open book or closed book. So you can evaluate all of these things, and then you should submit to that spiritual master. Whether your mind says, yes, now he's speaking so nicely, charmingly, he's walking so wonderfully, he's wearing this cloth. My mind can be pleased by one person, can be displeased by another person. Oh, he's looking so shabby, so unclean. But it should not be based on looks or how my mind will feel. This person I'll accept. I found the right person. But what is it based on true merit, or is it based on my inner feeling? Vivekananda might have found that way through his feeling, but not necessarily that is the case for everyone. We have to go by Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. The previous Guru, what he has said, whether this Guru is following the Shastra, whether he is speaking bona fide things as the sadhus have spoken. So based on all of this, we have to ascertain and then accept the Guru. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, it has to be part of parampara. Cannot be a self-made Guru. So we are running out of time. So question online. For an amateur student, how to avoid doing an offense while presenting a genuine inquiry to a bona fide guru? That may seem to many as a challenging question. So how to pose the question in a humble way? No, when the guru can see your spirit, whether you are asking as in a challenging spirit, again based on your service. Prabhupada writes in the purport to 4.34, you can read the purport to 4.34, Mataji. Prabhupada answers that when you are sufficiently qualified by your service, then you become qualified to ask questions to the spiritual master, and that will be accepted. So you can read the purport and that will be answered in that. Okay, so let's go to chanting. So anybody coming for the first time or going to be chanting for the first time? So we all chanted earlier. So let's start chanting. So again, these are all standard instructions, but it's good to hear before we chant. Krishna is there personally. The holy name is non-different. Krishna Purna Vapushe. Purna Vapushe means his complete personality is there in this holy name. It's non-different. Krishna, when I chant, Krishna is there completely. With that faith, we have to chant and hear. So pronounce clearly, hear carefully. That's all. That is a simple instruction. So chant very clearly, every syllable. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and hear very attentively. Then we can absorb Krishna to the extent, as much extent as we can. So please repeat. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So let's chant. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare